Sound has the power to seriously change how scary something is. For example, if I say, "I'm coming to see you later," it's fine, but change the background noise, "I'm coming to see you later," well, it hits different, doesn't it? So yes, sound is vitally important in video games, and nowhere is sound design more impactful than when deploying sound effects so memorable and signifying things so terrifying that even players who haven't picked up the game in years will panic if they hear it in the wild. Ah! Head crab!
Sorry, that was my phone, I got a text.
Okay, well, while I recover from that, why don't you attempt to enjoy these terrifying sounds as suggested in the comments from our previous video on this subject. Beware minor spoilers for the following. Why the hell is that your text tone?
I'm sorry, I just got it, I downloaded it, I thought it'd be funny.
I'm sorry, I just got it, I downloaded it. That's your excuse, is it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, put it on my gravestone and I die of fright. I'm sorry, I just got it, I downloaded it. Why is your phone not on silent anyway? A little professionalism, please.
I'm sorry, I'm changing it.
Oh, you got another text. You gonna answer that?
That wasn't my phone.
Minecraft is a wonderful chill game where you can mine and craft to your heart's content. That is, until a big green rectangle comes up behind you and blows you up. Ah! My chill! There are plenty of horrible cubey monsters out there ready to murder you, but this one stands out, as does the sound it makes, as pointed out by commenter Simple Name. The scariest is the sound of a creeper hissing behind you. Now, hisses can mean bad things IRL, like a leaking pipe or an angry snake or some overcooked bacon. But in Minecraft it means that you and everything within a 2-block radius or so are gonna have their day utterly ruined. This is because creepers make a silent beeline straight for you and only start to hiss right before they go off. So by the time you've worked out where the bastard is, then I'm sorry, it's too late for you. Have fun seeing your inventory floating around where you were just stood. Even if you do spot a creeper before you hear it, it's unlikely you'll have a weapon strong enough to kill it in one hit. So you end up swatting it back every time it starts to hiss, like you're in a particularly stressful game of tennis, but the ball always comes straight for you and is made of TNT. It sucks extra hard because while other Minecraft mobs like skellies and zombies just murder you, creeper explosions can destroy your precious hand-built creations too. Imagine spending ages building something only for this to happen. Do you know how long it took me to build that? Too long! All of this means that you'll send an entire generation of gamers flailing if you play this sound. To demonstrate...
Ah, look! Where is it? Where is it? Ow!
Sometimes if you make a bunch of noises all together in a pattern, they make this thing called music. Games often use music to set the scene, and some games like to build tension by changing the music to something more fraught when you're in possible danger, in a process we like to call when the music goes all music-y.
The music's gone all music-y.
One particularly butt-clenching example can be found in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, as pointed out by commenter Leanna Moore, who succinctly put, "The music changing when a guardian spots you in BOTW." Oh god, yeah. Oh god, no! Breath of the Wild has a lot of lovely twinkly piano in it. For instance, this bit right at the beginning when you first step out into Hyrule, ready for adventure. Oh, that's better. But when this twinkly piano comes in, you'd better get behind the nearest rock, building, or tree before you get exploded with a giant laser. These piano notes are so petrifying because guardians are deadlier than this week's most deadly TikTok challenge. The Maple Glaze Piranha Pool Challenge. Oh dear.
I've just covered myself in maple glaze.
Oh, well, look at that
I'm
one.
about to jump in with the piranhas.
Piranhas really love that glaze.
Ah!
God. Guardians can see 360 degrees around them from what feels like miles away, have a chunky health bar, and can shoot you with the aforementioned giant fire laser. This can kill you in a single shot early game, or a few more shots later in the game, which feels even more humiliating. And while we're talking scary noises, you can add the beep 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 of its laser targeting our hero Link, as that sound usually means you're about to have your day completely ruined. Oh well, at least when you're brave enough, you can use a shield to deflect the laser back at them. Okay, I'm just going to avoid all open fields from now on. That's easy in this game, right? Right?
If there was one noise I'd use to describe alien isolation, it would be... Another noise, however, was pointed out by commenter Chem Spider, who suggested this terrifying sound effect. The alien moving through the vents / leaving the vents nearby in alien isolation. In Alien Isolation, you have to make as little noise as possible as you wander the corridors of the Sevastopol space station, so as not to attract the attention of the towering Xenomorph and get your scared little face eaten off. In trying to make as little noise as possible, you become hyper aware of the noises around you. So when you hear something huge scurrying around the inner workings of the Sevastopol, you really hear it. The sound design is so exquisitely done in this game that you can easily estimate the alien's whereabouts, whether it be in the walls around you or if it's just plopped out of a vent right near you. Something I'd like to congratulate the Creative Assembly sound designers on as soon as I finish crying in this locker. Most confrontations with the Xenomorph end in insta-death, so whenever you hear it clambering about, all you can hope for is that it won't drop down right next to you, and if it does, that you saved at some point in the last half hour. All in all, it adds up to an extremely stressful noise that sticks with you long after you've played the game. Again.
The last time we investigated terrifying game noises, we included poison head crabs from the Half-Life series because they did this noise. And this noise. Thanks, I hate it. But we saw some disagreement in the comments, with commenters like AS arguing that, what? No! The scarier sounds in Half-Life are the screams coming from those who have crabs on their heads. Haunting. To be fair, you've all got a point. The zombies in the Half-Life games do make some particularly unpleasant noises that will definitely put you on edge whenever you hear them. These are horrifying, and not just because they're coming from a zombie that could kill you. Fans discovered that if you take some of the unpleasant noises made by zombies and play them backwards, you get this. Even more unpleasant noises. See, when a head crab gets its hideous maw over a victim's head, it doesn't kill them. Instead, it breaks into their skull and latches onto their brain, controlling their movements, but still leaving some of their consciousness. Like in Ratatouille. So when you hear the screams of a zombie, it's not the mindless moans of an undead creature, but actually the victim's muffled cries for help as they are used like a grotesque human puppet while being in constant, likely unbearable pain. like in Ratatouille.
When we're looking at commenter suggestions, occasionally one appears way more often than the others all put together, and judging by the comments on our previous video on this topic, a lot of Subnautica players out there need a hug. This submersive survival game sees players trying not to die as they explore the seas of an alien planet. There are lots of dangerous things in these seas, but scariest of all are the Leviathans, colossal creatures that want to turn you into human sashimi. But there was one Leviathan that floats eerily above the rest, as pointed out by commenter CID. How about the Reaper Leviathan roars from Subnautica? Seriously, you can hear them from half a mile away in the game. In case you haven't already guessed by the fact that it has Reaper in its name, this Leviathan is bad news. It's probably the easiest one to actually bump into, seeing that 25 of them spawn into each game, 10 of which are in the crash zone right next to your old spaceship. And not helping is that it's definitely the meanest looking of the bunch. It has 4 terrible black eyes and great big mandibles it uses to grab you and pull you in towards its sharp pointy teeth. Must say, not a fan. The thing is, as CID said in their comment, this terrifying titan can be heard for miles. Its roars echo around the sea, so when you hear one, all you know is that it is somewhere nearby, but you have no idea where. So instead of swimming in the wrong direction and bumping straight into this nightmare, it's probably best just to stay where you are and pray it doesn't find you. Good news, you live here now. Yes, the neighbours are a bit noisy, but if you complain, they'll eat you.
Evasion successful.
Imagine if you had head lice, but each louse was like 100 miles long. That would be bad, right? Well, that's Mass Effect. These gargantuan space lice are known as the Reapers, who are much bigger than Subnautica's Reaper Leviathans by, like, a lot. These synthetic organic spaceship creatures go hibernate out in deep space for several millennia, then wake back up to purge all intelligent life from the galaxy. Like me, if somebody wakes me up too early from a nap. Just don't do it. Their apocalyptic arrival is also greeted by a sound that has scarred many players, such as Skepta3002, who said, "Mass Effect, Reaper. That sound freaked me all the way out when I heard it." Basically, if you hear this noise, everyone is screwed. Hearing it will definitely put the willies up players who know that there is very little that can be done to stop these immense, inconsiderate insectoids. And one particularly jump-inducing place this sound can pop up is the galaxy map. Here you zip around in your spaceship, the Normandy, and explore planets, scanning both them and the local area for resources to help you beef up your Reaper fighting abilities.
Signal confirmed.
But if you scan an area too many times looking for sweet loot, you draw attention to your location and thus also bring the Reapers barreling down on you. You better zip the Normandy out of there faster than a greased L-core, or it's an insta game over. It's no wonder, therefore, this brrrr still has players' knees knocking together all these years later. Oh, there isn't enough anti-lice shampoo in the world.
Data, I'm locked out. There's something in the church. It broke the door.
Hang on, I'll try to override all the gates in the area.
Hurry. There's something out here, too.
Dead Space is a series with more unpleasant noises in it than a Kid Rock concert. You can't take a step without some gruesome monster that manages to somehow be both spiky and wibbly, dropping out of a vent nearby and screeching in your terrified little face.
Whoa!
Case in point. Many of you suggested different variants of Space Zombie, but for us, one stands out as a particularly egregious example of mean, scary sound design, as pointed out by commenter Always Invert Y. For me, it's the creepy keening of the Stalker necromorphs. What's worse than velociraptors? Velociraptors in space! Despite this person being wrong about default control schemes, we think they're bang on the money when it comes to the Stalker necromorphs. Introduced in Chapter 4 of Dead Space 2, these things don't jump out at you. Instead, they sneak around and then screech before full pelt Naruto running at you while making this noise. Yeah! Oh god, how can they both sneak up on me and not sneak up on me? Worst of all, when you encounter them, they're not alone. While you might spot one, that doesn't mean that there isn't another one just off screen that's about to jump you like one of those sneaky Muldoon-eating velociraptors from Jurassic Park. Clever girl. Whenever you hear this noise, not only is it ear-splittingly scary, but you know that you're at risk from any angle. And you're definitely going to hear that noise a whole bunch more times before you're finally safe. So memorable is this screech that it can set off a fear response in players years after first hearing it, making them immediately check every angle like in a recurring nightmare about a trigonometry exam. It's one of the scariest moments in a game that, need I remind you, starts like this.
Isaac Clarke, if you can hear me, run! Run!
Which is impressive when you think about it. I don't want to think about it.
Alright, we got it. Okay, nobody move that shirt. There's a head crab under it. Definitely remember, there's a head crab under that shirt, so don't move it. Alright, good. Whew. Glad that nightmare is over. The other nightmare that's over is this video. Well done, you made it through, folks. Can you think of any more examples of terrifying noises from video games? If so, we'd love to hear them. Maybe we can do this video a third time. We'd love to. They're really, really fun. So drop them in the comments if you can think of any other examples. And if you really want to support the go the extra mile and support the head crab wrestling work that we do, then why not go to patreon.com/oxclub. You can join our Patreon. There's a cool Discord. It's a really good time. And these videos also have, are good. So maybe watch them as well. Right. What was I saying about shirts? I can't remember. That probably wasn't important. Oh, it got out! Oh, it is out!